Hey guys, welcome back to DCU Worlds. As you know, these last few days have been absolutely crazy. We've had a lot of DCU news, both positive and negative. We also got the information about Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers, which has now become one of the main topics on social media, especially for DC fans, because now no one really knows what's going to happen with the DCU or what its future will be now that Netflix owns it. So in today's video, we're going to talk a lot about that, but we'll also talk about Supergirl's suit that was revealed at CCXP. We're also going to talk about when the first trailer is coming out. We'll talk about the Lanterns teaser. Some people have already seen the teaser in London. And we'll also talk about the casting of Brainiac, the main antagonist of the next Superman movie. So guys, those are the updates we're discussing today. But before we start, don't forget to hit the like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Also, follow our other social media, Instagram and Threads, where I also keep you updated about this universe we all love. All right, let's start by talking about the future of DC Studios on Netflix. Well, recently, James Gunn spoke to Bloomberg about Netflix buying Warner Brothers Discovery. He gave some very important statements about DCU films and the future of DC in theaters. Here's what he said. The communal theatrical experience is something that is incredibly important and remarkably well suited to our big spectacle films. It's also said that James Gunn and Peter Safran have had their contracts extended until the spring of 2027. Peter Safran also talked a bit about James Gunn's creative mind. What makes us irreplaceable is truly the mind of James Gunn. He's been the architect of this grand vision. And James added something about making a Batman movie. If you're going to make a Batman movie, it better be fucking awesome. And here's David Zaslav talking about James Gunn and Peter Safran running DC Studios after the Netflix acquisition. The work of James and Peter, their creative vision, it's compelling and a great economic return. There's no storytelling content that we have that provides a bigger palette than DC, and there's nobody around right now who can tell these stories with the same imagination and excitement. Well, those were the main statements from James Gunn and Peter Safran after Netflix acquired Warner Brothers Discovery. And it's important to highlight that 2026 and 2027 will be crucial years for DC Studios. Now, the question is whether the films will continue to be released in theaters, since Netflix has a business model that's the complete opposite of Warner's. I still think, yes, the films will continue to be released in theaters, but we still don't know what the theatrical window is going to look like, meaning how long they'll stay in theaters. So yeah, this is really concerning, not just for us DC fans, but for the future of cinema. I know most movies today don't really deserve a theatrical release, but cinema, like James Gunn says, is something really important, something that's part of our history, especially for large-scale films. So starting next year in 2026 and 2027, we're going to start seeing how films will be distributed in theaters, how people will receive these films, and how James Gunn and Peter Safran will work under Netflix. And listen, one thing is David Zaslav handing full control of DC to Gunn and Safran and saying, make the DC universe for us, I trust you. Another thing is the co-CEO of Netflix, who works in a company that operates completely differently from Warner. Netflix works differently from Warner Brothers, from Disney, from Paramount. It's a streaming giant, so everything in it is oriented toward its streaming catalog. Netflix has had films that release in theaters with tiny windows. They still do. For example, the recently released Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein was in theaters for 1 or 2 weeks, which is ridiculous because in the long run, that's something that could kill movie theaters. Of course, that won't happen right now because there are still many studios releasing their movies in theaters for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. The problem is long-term. Netflix gets powerful. It acquires Warner. Amazon is powerful. Disney is powerful, and suddenly studios may find it more profitable to release their films directly on their streaming platforms. In this industry, everything ultimately comes down to money. So if Netflix looks at the brave and the bold and decides it's more profitable to release it straight to streaming, they will, I believe, that at first the films will go to theaters normally, but they'll stay for maybe 3 months. Actually, I think at most 1 month for you to watch the movie. Maybe in the future, we'll talk a lot more about this because the cinema itself will never end, like going to the theater. That will never end. What could happen is it becoming more niche for certain audiences. Like the mass audience may get less interested because you'll get home, open Netflix, and the new Batman will be right there. James Gunn talks about how important this is. The DC heroes are huge. DC is a major brand. Maybe this will influence Netflix's method Or maybe we'll get something more exclusive to theaters, but with a very short window. All right, now let's talk about the Supergirl movie. As you know, Supergirl's suit has already been revealed at CCXP, and we got a really cool glimpse of it. I like this suit a lot. I even think it's prettier than Superman's. Don't get me wrong, I like Superman's suit too, but this one looks much more refined. The cape, the skirt, they have a slightly different texture, and the boots reference the comic book suit since the movie is based on the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic. And of course, this suit is different from the one we saw on Supergirl in the Superman movie. Now, there was another piece of information from insider Daniel RPK saying that the Supergirl trailer will come out on December 11th. And at first I thought everything was perfect, the Supergirl trailer dropping on Thursday, since we've been waiting a long time for it. But then came another piece of info that the Avengers Doomsday trailer is also coming out this Thursday. So if this gets confirmed, because we don't know yet, man, I don't know what DC is thinking. Releasing a trailer on the same day as Avengers is crazy. The Supergirl trailer will get completely swallowed. I really hope they change the date, because if it's Thursday, Supergirl's trailer is getting completely overshadowed. So don't take this rumor too seriously, because none of this is confirmed. Also, some people have already seen the trailer, so we'll probably start seeing something similar to the Superman trailer rollout. Maybe a 15-second or 30-second teaser first, or a countdown. But honestly, I really hope they don't release it the same day as Avengers Doomsday, because that would be a huge mistake. Now let's talk about lanterns. As you know, in the past few weeks, we had statements from some people who saw the Lanterns teaser at an HBO Max upfront session in Sao Paulo. We even got the confirmation that the series will have that rural American Western vibe and that Hal Jordan will be a substitute teacher for Jon Stewart. They also mentioned that Chip is referenced. Chip is that squirrel Green Lantern. This made me really happy because it shows the series won't be everything we feared, like something super grounded or too realistic. I still think it'll have that, but it'll be a mix of realism and fantasy. So we'll likely see a lot of aliens appear in the show. They also said no suits were shown, probably saving that for the first public trailer. Now, there was another piece of info that went unnoticed because of all the noise around Netflix buying Warner. And this info comes from The Hollywood Reporter, saying that HBO and HBO Max chief Casey Bloys revealed the channel's latest lineup in London on Wednesday night. And they say Bloys also showed trailers for productions like Rooster, Lanterns, and Season 3 of House of the Dragon, so the Lanterns teaser can drop at any moment, just like the Supergirl teaser. But I think the idea circulating is to release the teaser near the finale of Welcome to Derry, which airs, I think, on December 14th. So probably around that date, we could get something from Lanterns. HBO usually releases that yearly promo trailer showing their upcoming series. And so, we might get a small glimpse of Lanterns there, something similar to how they promoted Peacemaker Season 2. But since they said Casey Bloys showed an actual Lanterns trailer, and House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer, they might be separate trailers, not just those 3-second glimpses. Either way, we're getting something. I know we have the Supergirl movie coming, but I'm way more excited for Lanterns than for the Supergirl movie. Maybe my opinion will change after Supergirl premieres, but for now, I'm way more hyped for Lanterns. All right, now let's talk about our last topic, Brainiac casting. Insider Grace Randolph said that Brainiac casting is close, and the actor who's currently the favorite is someone who has already worked with James Gunn, and that's all she said. She also commented on the Matt Smith casting situation that, yes, he was in the running, but he's apparently no longer the favorite. Because of that info, people started speculating who it could be. Immediately, I thought of Dave Bautista. I've been talking about Dave Bautista being cast as Brainiac for a long time, not because he's my top choice, but because he matches the description they gave. They wanted a physically strong actor, someone with a larger build, and the names that came up didn't match that profile, which I found odd. And Dave Bautista is a great friend of James Gunn. He's worked with him before. We've seen Dave Bautista do a lot more than just play a big guy with a big heart. He's proven he can do other roles. So yeah, I think Bautista could be a good Brainiac, but we're speculating based on a name Grace hinted at, so it could be Dave Bautista, or it could not be. It might even be the actor who played the High Evolutionary. He'd make a great Brainiac, though it would be somewhat similar to his role in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But honestly, if it's Dave Bautista or any of the actors currently in the running, I'm good with that. I don't care too much about who plays Brainiac. I just hope it's a great actor. Anyway, guys, those are the updates on the DCU. Please leave your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.